This video is fair use under Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976. Now let the chaos begin.
Yeah, hey, lady.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now you're good.
Sorry, I had to switch microphones.
Okay.
So listen, I know I'm not everybody's favorite person on this platform. I get it. Okay.
I ain't either.
So,
It's okay.
the whole reports thing is being blown widely out of proportion. Long before, and my wife's with me, long before Ernie ever threatened to murder my wife or myself, okay, I was telling people that Ernie was threatening to file reports. You gotta, even if it doesn't lead to an RO, it still leaves a record trail of things that he's been doing across the states that he was running it. Okay. What people don't know behind the scenes with the whole little peace accord thing that was supposed to happen with the detective, even then, me nor the detective knew where Ernie was. It was the detective's opinion that I not talk about Ernie any further and continue to monitor and report on his behaviors and to entice other people to report on their behaviors. It was after that, correct, hon? Correct. That he threatened to murder my wife and make me watch and then murder me, and then started sending me text messages of him with various weapons and things that he was going to do to my wife and me.
Right.
It was then that I started to take it extremely seriously, especially when he started posting videos of him being in my hometown. That was when my wife and I both consulted with the detective, and we asked, if he steps foot on the property, can we put a bullet in his head? And the detective said,
yes, ma'am, you may.
Yes, ma'am. So at that point, I was at the point where if he showed up on my property, I was going to end his existence. And it was then that I told people, get your reports filed, because when he's eventually captured, those reports can come in handy to finally put him in jail and treatment that he does. We all know he needs. Okay. And that's where I'm at with that. So when she made me that promise, and hon, that's what it was?
A promise. Before I was even threatened. That she
no, my wife's cooking, so she's got a timer on. I apologize.
That's okay.
So when she made me that promise, I assumed that she was, and I was, still running her channel. Well, not running it, but managing it, protecting it from strikes and counterclaims and all that stuff. So, and then the fight with Shannon, who, I'm closer to Shannon on this platform than anybody else. Quite, I'm just going to be honest. It is what it is. So I was upset because, I felt like I was doing all this work, and nobody was really lifting a finger to do their part. And I can't file reports on other people because I'm not the victim of those people. They're the victim. They have to file their reports. And then some people were listening to lunatics on this platform and filing crazy ass reports that had no bearing on what was going on, or were so far outside of the scope of truth that it didn't make sense. And that's when I started to realize that, Mr. Nobody, you got it. I realized it came down to content for a lot of people. It was more about the content than doing the right thing. And, people can say what they want about Nicole. It is what it is. But it was Nicole that really basically just told me I needed to stop coming at this from an emotional standpoint, because that's what it was. I have a guy threatening to rape and murder my wife, a guy that survived sexual assault. Of course I'm going to come at it emotionally. You can't do it on this platform because it's weaponized by the people that are master manipulators of trauma. So you can't do it that way. So you have to basically leave it all alone and just handle things in the back and not talk about it, which is what I did moving forward. I stopped advertising what I was doing, and I just did stuff behind the scenes, and I left it at that. But I had to walk away from Katie because Katie lied. There's a difference between lying on this platform just to be a liar or to fuck with people's minds, and then lying about something that is extremely important to the overall encompassing case of Ernie Shell. And he's just an example. So then when she went and did the thing with 007, of course I was proud. Hey, you did a great job. Congratulations. Now stop talking about him. Did she do that? Nope. No. Because she is all about her, and I didn't see it. My wife did. She warned me in advance, and I still stuck with her for another 6 months or whatever it was.
A woman's intuition is hell.
Yeah. So I'm just going to listen to my wife from now on. So yeah, I'm going to write songs about Katie all day long. I don't care. And I'm going to use RNN reports to call her out. I don't care, because that's who she is. But I don't need to live stream about her because she's not worth it. And she wants that. She wants you to live stream about her so that she can come back and have another live stream. Because while Ernie's in jail, she's extremely boring and has absolutely no content. And then I'm supposed to take her horse and be compassionate about her horse when the man who threatened to rape and got her and kill her horse She didn't care about the horse then, so why am I supposed to care about the horse?
And I see your point. I see that absolutely. And again, you're entitled to your feelings 100%, and it's validated. So don't ever think that it's not, because absolutely. If that shit was threatening on me, I'd be.
I stopped modding for her when I stopped modding for her when she was fighting Shannon. That's why I had to go up on Mama T's panel to ask her if she actually filed the report, so that I could FOIA the report, because one report's not enough. You have to have multiple people who have experienced the same behaviors in their states file their reports, so that you can accumulate them all into one specific pattern for a district attorney with some sense to do something with it. Because what's going to happen if he gets out in the next 3 weeks? What's going to happen? You know, Kels, you've known him longer than I have. Nicole knows him longer than I have. We all know what's going to happen. Yep. It's going to come back 10 times worse than he was before. And a lot of these people are going to milk it for everything it's worth.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid he's going to end up taking somebody's life. Quite frankly, that's just where I'm at.
I know. Because especially if he is in the state of mind, whether it's drugs or not, if he gets in that state of mind, and he was tripping like he was with that knife in his hand in that home, nobody knew what he was going to do with that knife. None of us know. We seen what we seen, and he had that look in his eye of didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he could have done something to that man in that home with that knife.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of clear that up, because people make it seem like I was trying to get people to write reports for my benefit. No. This was about you all protecting yourselves.
Right, and it was about what he said to her about her horse and her what he was going to do to her. Now you was bothered what he said about you and your wife with her, because she didn't do it. As far as the actual report, you wanted her to do what he said to her, right?
Yes, her report was about her threats made by Ernie to her and her family, not me. Yes. I had no bearing on it, other than I wanted to be able to get a copy of the report to add to mine. Just like I would have told the next person, here's my report, FOIA the report from this one here in California, FOIA the report over here from this one in Arkansas, and put it all together so that you build a stronger case. It's not rocket science when you're trying to build a pattern of behavior on people. You have to get people have to be willing to file the reports,
right,
and stand by it. And it has to be accurate. You can't just file a false report. It has to have accurate information, timelines, videos, pictures. Like, I had screenshots of this dude sending me pictures of weapons that he was going to use on my wife.
Wow. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
If you said it in the past, I apologize, but wow.
I didn't give all the details, but I mean, he was definitely goading me into, to try to have a reaction from me, which he wasn't getting, but he was getting it from Katie. He was getting exactly what he wanted, and she was giving it to him. And I was dumb enough to believe that she was getting him to admit to. No, that dude will admit to anything. He'll do it on his own. You don't need him on a panel.
Right, absolutely. She acts like she's the only one that got him to admit to stuff. No, Nick has got him to admit to stuff when she covered him. Then me and Sarah was covering him. Like I said, me, Nick, and Sarah all covered Arnie at one time. You know, Nick done it for a lot longer than us, because she known him from Facebook, and then we all just kind of like, piggybacked off each other about it.
Yeah.
So. I forgot what
Chica, 100%, a true friend. And by the way, she saw this message from me before she had Ernie on her panel. I want people to make note of this. This is what irritates. Yeah, we had an understanding on Mama T's panel. Yeah, she choked. She failed. She let me down. She dropped the ball. However you want to word it. Okay, right. But she could have still filed that report. But she was more focused on videoing and getting views and being the first to report things. Where do you think most of her information and her production was coming from?
Oh, I know it came from you.
Yeah, that's why her channel sucks.
Because now. I know if somebody else that you sent it to, and I knew you sent it to her because you was her manager. I knew. The other person didn't put it out, but she sure would go live and put it out. Just like.
And I was willing to give that information to anyone. I know. My goal was to get that man arrested and in jail.
I know that, but I'm just saying, she wanted to be there first. When anything came to Ernie, she wanted to be the first to report on it. Like that night, them going back, he did live, she did live. Didn't matter, day, night, couldn't wait till the next day, or, right that minute, she'd have to go live about it. Every little thing you done.
It's okay, Ruben. People can talk about me all they want. I don't care. You do have to grow on this platform. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the same cesspool. I mean, it is what it is. Yep, I'm hurt. 100% was hurt. Yep.
But you was not asking her to take a report. Katie, that he was not asking you to do a report for his wife. He was asking you to do the report of what Ernie said to you. He can handle his end of the deal. He can handle him and his wife can handle theirs. It's just that you told him he was going to.
Yeah, my wife and I definitely filed we filed our own reports. We did our job as far as getting it documented. And now that information is in the hands of the Kentucky district attorney. And what they choose to do with that, again, I can't make the law do what the law should do. I can't make Kentucky do anything with the reports because they didn't happen in Kentucky. They happened in New York. So,
Right.
I can't make the law do what I want it to do. And I don't operate at the law speed. They operate at their own speed.
Right.
What do you have to say, hon?
Oh, and that threat to me was after Ernie was supposed to keep quiet and not talk
Yes, the
about
text messages, yes.
about my husband.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'm so sorry that was said to you. You didn't deserve that.
It happens.
I know it happens, but it still don't make it right at all.
No,
Got it.
and I was trying to do what I thought was protecting people, but again, sometimes you get blindsided by sides and appearances and things
Oh,
like
I
that.
get
You
it.
don't, you don't see everything. It is what it is. So, I'm just sticking with Shannon. Shannon's never let me down. She's never failed me, and she's always been there for me. And she's not afraid to call me out when I'm doing stupid shit. So, that's
Right.
what your friend's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So,
And
good luck with everybody.
I appreciate you so much for coming up and explaining it, because she's twisting it all out, thinking that you could do something about yours and your wife's deal, and she knows that's not the case, because again, she was on Mama T's panel, and you asked her about did she file what he said to her about the horse and crap, and about what he was going to do to her. So we all,
Yeah.
everybody knows that she's backed into a corner just like Ernie, and she will twist and turn anything she can to try to benefit her.
Yes, of course.
Um,
No, I don't tell anybody's business to Shannon. I don't tell anybody's business to Ghost. I don't tell Ghost business to anybody else. If I'm a channel manager, I'm there thick and thin. I'm going to
Right.
protect you as much as I can. That's why I didn't get involved in the stuff with Sarah, because I'm Sarah's channel manager. I'm not going to fuck over one person for another person. You're my friend. I'm going to protect you, even if it's from another
Right.
friend. It is what it is.
and even if you don't, and the thing I see, like, even if you don't agree with, like, well, hence Katie, for one thing, you let her, you were still her manager up to a certain point. Even though you didn't agree with how she was doing stuff, you still try to see it was her channel. You let her do her. You was just the manager. And I could see that you being, well, you probably would, but I could see you being somebody else's manager that she might, well, like Shannon's, and if they went at each other, you still try to not get in the middle of it. But again, I see why you picked Shannon, and I understand that. But you see what I'm saying? You try to keep the differences out of it, is what I see with you, and just be.
I try to. I
Yeah.
try to. I do, contrary to what people make me out. I care. I care. We're supposed to be protecting children. Even if it's people we don't like, we're supposed to protect children. That's where
Right.
it stands, And my wife's not a child, obviously, but that's my spouse, and I will end the existence of any human being that threatens to harm her
Mhm.
and tries to carry it out. That's just where I stand.
And like I said,
My wife wants me to add to the fact. Hold on, I was
Okay,
on
you're fine.
a private video with her when I was explaining I walked her through the steps of where to file, what she was filing. It was very clear she wasn't filing on my stuff. She was filing on her stuff. I located the police department. I even got the name of detective for her to file with, and the address and the phone number to where she had to go to do the report. This is conveniently left out of her narrative because she can't remember Shiticus unless it's pertaining to her Shiticus. But all of that stuff was laid out because I needed her file to be filed with her threats on her life and her family and her horse, since she was so worried as she was on the phone with me, so that I could FOIA the report. I'm not going to lie, I definitely was going to FOIA the report and add it to things that I was doing that I wasn't fully advertising. So I just want to make sure that that's clear as well. And I appreciate people, they didn't know everything that Ernie was doing and sending, because he wasn't advertising everything either, but he was definitely sending some pretty heinous text messages with very vivid pictures of what he was going to do to my wife and myself. And people think he's this weak, whatever thing, it doesn't matter to me. If you're threatening my life or the life of my family, I'm going to take it seriously enough to take the steps I need to take to safeguard them and to safeguard others.
Right.
So thank you for giving me a chance to come up and explain.
Absolutely,
yes.
anytime. And
Well,
yes,
you also
Nancy.
told her when you tried to help her and give her all the stuff was that if you do
Oh, yeah.
this,
Sorry.
you cannot continue to have him up on panel and talk about him. And she said she was going to do it, and then he continued to threaten her and other people,
Yes.
not just me.
I forgot about that part. Thank you, dear. Yes, I did tell her that if she once you file a report on somebody, I don't care what a judge tells you, stop fucking talking about that person. Because as people like to bring up my lawsuit with Karen, that wasn't a complete failure per se, because I did get them to establish that I did work for the government and all this other shit that she was saying about me. But the rest of the stuff got thrown out because Karen and I were doing back and forth. if you're doing a back and forth with somebody that you're supposed to be taking to court and or getting an RO against or trying to sue for defamation and slander, but you're doing the same things back and forth, the court's not going to look favorably on it. And it's very easy to get an RO on somebody when both sides aren't clearly painted in the light that's supposed to be painted, when you're only telling one side of the story, but leaving out the fact that you went to a predator to get child pictures of the person that you're supposed to be afraid of. I bet that wasn't mentioned in court.
Right.
I bet and don't get me wrong, I can't stand 007, but I would definitely love to be a hostile witness for him.
Well, and the thing about that, though, she says she didn't go to them directly. It was that Billy person. But at the same time, that's going through a third party, whether she wants to look at it that way or not.
I'm so tired of people doing that. She's not the only one that does that. Listen, we're all sneaky, shady motherfuckers to a point, to an extent. We've all done shit behind the scenes. We've all done shit in front of the scenes. There's nobody with clean hands here. But let's be honest, okay? I can account for I was behind the scenes doing shit for Katie. She weaponized me to go after El Kennedy, and I 100% did because I believed what she was telling me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you're on this platform with blinders on and you're not seeing everything and you're not questioning things, then you're just a follower. So my advice, and it goes for people that support me, watch what we're doing, question everything we're doing, hold us accountable if you can, if you're supposed to, if you need to, whatever, do it. But I'm done with hurting people on this platform. I'm definitely going to make songs and write shit about people because I don't give a fuck about that. I'm not going to purposely go after people and try to hurt them, but I would definitely volunteer to be a hostile witness for 007. Because I don't like him either, and I'll make sure the court knows this. I can't stand the motherfucker, but right is right and wrong is wrong. So
Exactly. Yep. And we're
Katie
humans.
is dirty, sneaky, and behind the scenes, and she weaponizes men mostly to do her deeds for her so that she can look like she didn't do anything. And don't get me wrong, we're just as guilty for doing it for her, but it was at a directive. So there you go.
Right. And that's what Nick said earlier. She acts like the damsel in distress, like when she came to Nick about T-Fuck, and Nick, tried to help her out. So I get it. You don't have to, and quit apologizing to me when you say something or no, you take all the time.
I was a dick to a lot of the people here and in the chat, so it is what it is.
Okay, Michelle's got a question.
Stop cheating on your wife, damn it. Yeah, dude, my wife would slit my throat and my neck back if I cheated on her.
Michelle has a question,
Why are you responding to them? They're not worth your attention.
Who's Michelle? Which Michelle?
From Katie's. Peachy and Ghost made a police report, right? Now, don't answer it if you don't want to, and if you say Peach and Ghost needs to answer that.
They do need to answer. I can tell you that 2 people filed a report.
Okay, Michelle, he's not naming names, but 2 people filed a report.
So it's up to them. It's up to them to go and figure out who those 2 people are, and then FOIA them if they want a copy of it, because I sure did.
Michelle, do you understand, so that you can go tell Katie, since Katie will say she didn't watch, do you understand Viper's point that he was not asking her to, he wasn't even asking her to get an RO on Ernie. He just wanted her to file what he said to her. Document it.
I think I even said it may go nowhere, but it's not the point. The point is just to file the report.
Right.
It may go nowhere because we can't decide what the courts or what the police or what the investigators or what the DAs are going to do. But at least you filed it, because that will follow him every time he gets arrested. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to follow him.
Right. And see, like I said, I understand that totally, because, they're right. And Gail Kennedy, she's been in here a couple times. The report shows a pattern of behavior. And like Viper was saying earlier, once Ernie got caught, all that could be presented, and then the courts could do whatever with it, whether anything got done or not. It was there. So.
Well, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. I appreciate you interrupting your stream for that.
No, you didn't interrupt nothing. I'm so glad that you came up and explained it. And Nancy, thank you. I don't know. I think maybe you talked in the background one other time when he was on my panel, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because I can't remember everything. So she kind of fills in the blanks of some of the things. Because I was a part of a lot of stupid shit on this platform. Let's just be honest.
I get it. And we all can't remember everything. We're humans, and we all make mistakes. We all, at some point, like you said earlier, we all done shit. Some of us don't go about stuff the right way at the time, and it is what it is. But we accept it. We talk about it. We ask for forgiveness, and we move on. But yeah. She's leaving out details. She don't tell the full story about stuff, and she's trying to get a whole nother set of people that we don't know, a whole lot about, to either do stuff in real life or come in our chat and cause disturbances and all that. And, I don't mind if they're being here. I want them to listen. I want them to know. But don't come in here trying to dox. Don't come in here with racial stuff, and we're good.
Yeah.
That's not too much to ask. That's not much to ask if I'm letting you have a place to speak and you're not getting blocked. And, you can ask your questions, because, again, some people don't know. They don't know what all Katie has done to this set of group of people over here. They know Katie in the past.
Draft Toss Diva, I love you. This is my arch nemesis in auctions, Draft Toss Diva.
I don't know if Michelle answered or not. I don't know, but
Some people are always going to stay there and support the same person because they were like me.
Yeah.
I was refusing to see stuff until more behind the scenes stuff started coming out. And I understand behind the scenes stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I do the behind the scenes stuff with the police and organizations that do investigations. So I get the behind the scenes stuff, but going to people for pictures and, you know, there's a line to behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
listen,
Hope
and
you
if
have a good rest of your live stream.
you're welcome. And if you think of anything else, the next few minutes that I'm live, you ask for that link again, and I'll definitely give it to you. And you know that because your voice definitely means something, and your opinions definitely mean something, and your side of the stuff that's not being said to all these other people matters.
I mean, I was an asshole, and I definitely took part in a lot of the bullshit that took place while her channel manager, and there's no way around that. I apologize for it. I went in with blinders on, thinking I was trying to help people. You know,
Right.
it is what
Well,
it is.
you've
So I
apologized.
apologize to them if they were targets, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. You've apologized to them, and like I said, that's up to them whether they accept it.
Yeah, they don't have to accept it. They
And
can just, you know, ignore me or block me or continue to troll me and do that, man. It's what I deserve.
Nicolina says, I just hope she spends her life crying and being a victim. Hey, Matt.
Y'all have a great night. Be safe, everybody.
You too. Thank you again for coming up.
Cool.
Okay.